Yo, what is going on, guys? Andrew with Brews and Board Games here. You guys might notice I'm not in my usual game room slash studio. That is because, unfortunately, my wife is not feeling well. She's congested, has a cough. She did get tested for COVID. It came back negative, but we're still not taking any chances with the kids. So she's kind of being the old basement troll right now in the basement where the game room is. So I had to move up shop up here. I'm right in my dining room right now. I got the high chair over there for the kids, so we're right in the middle of it. And funny enough, when I was starting YouTube, the original location was going to be in my dining room. Where this painting is, I was going to have that logo that you see usually in my videos. And then here on these shelves, I was going to have all the games. It just kind of worked out that moved down to the basement, and it's been a lot better there. So, but for today, we are going to do it up here in the dining room, and hopefully she gets better soon. So what is this video about? Well, I've been covering some games, right? Some Kickstarter games, some Gamefound games, and I've been speaking with a lot of you about, games that you guys might be interested in or that I'm interested in. So with all this coverage going around that I've been doing, I thought it might be a good idea, and to be transparent with you guys, to actually show you guys what I've actually been spending my money on, right? Usually I've just been saying in the videos, hey, this looks really good. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. So this is a video to kind of say, hey, this is what I've been doing. Now, when I say backed in the title, I don't just mean the live campaign, and that's what I've pledged for. What I'm kind of meaning by this title is, hey, it's not necessarily during the campaign. It could be, but it's also when the pledge manager opens. So I'm basically just talking about recent purchases, recent PMs that I've been actually spending the money on, or even some that I've been buying from some retailers. It's got to be big enough. It can't just be like some dice accessories. So we're actually talking legit full-blown games. So that's basically it. So let's just hop in and get started. And before we do, I'm not going to go into a full detail about what these games are. It's just going to be a brief summary. And also, what I tend to do, and that you'll see, is most of these campaigns, what I tend to do is I tend to go in for the lowest amount, pledge level, to gain access to the PM. That has a lot of benefits for me. I can get a lot more information about it, kind of decide, take my time a little bit about what exactly I'm going to do. I don't do that for every game that like you'll see, but sometimes I do. So let's just hop right into it, shall we? Let's minimize this, and then you can actually see the screen. Okay, so first up is Hoplomachus Victorum. Now, Victorum is a solo-only game by Chip Theory Games, and this is based on their Hoplomachus series. I really like Hoplomachus. I have a lot of it. I have Rise of Rome, The Lost Cities, Origins. So what Victorum is doing is actually you start out as this hero. And so you're going to travel this world, and you're going to participate in different events, they're called. There's 3 different types, I think. There's sporting events where you can entertain the crowd, gaining rewards, recruiting people, leveling up, stuff like that. There's opportunities, which are basically like quests, and then there's lethal events as well. And the lethal events is where you're like fight to the death. Now, over the course of, going around this world, you're going to fight these bosses called Primuses, and then eventually you're going to get strong enough to challenge the final boss, or what they're calling the Scion. Now, this game, like I said, it's taken that Hoplomachus, formula and putting it into this kind of campaign adventure. So where I backed was just for the base level game. I didn't go for the Hoplomachus remastered. I just went for Victorum. Now, there's a few reasons why. One is because you're going to get it for $20 off. I think it's going to retail at $115. But I really like Hoplomachus. Like I said, I have a lot of it. I like this system. I like the gladiator theme. I like all of this stuff. So what I really like about Victorum is they're taking this and putting it into this little adventure. And I love that idea of like you're going around the world, you're getting stronger, and me mentally, I'm like, hey, I'm getting stronger and my name is getting out there, right? That whole gladiator, you're traveling the world, you're proving yourself, stuff like that. I really like that theme. And this is basically going to just take everything you like about Hoplomachus and then just put it into kind of a campaign aspect. So if you like Hoplomachus, I really think you're going to like this. I really think I'm going to like this. And I play mostly solo. So this being a solo only game, it's very appealing to me. Everything that they're doing is focused on solo. So it's not like a tacked on thing. So this looks really interesting to me. Chip Theory Games, you know, high quality components, neoprene playmats, poker chips, the works. And another reason is it's Chip Theory Games. I love this company. I think they're really community friendly, right? They take a lot of feedback. I really feel like they try to make the best possible game that they can. They take the feedback from the community, try to put it into the games, you know, to try to, like I said, to make the best possible game. So I'm really excited about this. Now, if you don't pick this up, the late pledge, I think it's a late pledge, is still going on. If you don't pick this up, don't worry too much. Everything in this is going to go to retail. That's one of the reasons why I'm not picking up remastered yet. One, I already have all of the Hoplomachus stuff, well, most of it. I don't need remastered yet. I'm going to wait till that comes out, see exactly what that is, and then I'll make the decision after that. So if you don't get it, don't worry. There are no Kickstarter exclusives. Everything that you see in this campaign, you are going to be able to get retail. I just kind of know, I have that feeling, right, that I know I'm going to like this. So for $20 off, it's a no-brainer for me. So that is going to be Hoplomachus Victorum. Next up is 6 Siege. This is a skirmish game for 2 to 4 players by Mythic Games, and this is based on Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Now, I did a video on this going over reasons why you might not want to back. I am backing this or pledging for it. I think this game is unique enough. So basically in this game, it's a skirmish game. One side is going to be the attackers. The other side is going to be the defenders. And each side is going to be made up of 5 units, and they're called operators. Each of the operators is going to be pretty unique from the other one. And basically the defenders are going to be on the board, and the attackers are going to have to enter the board, and everybody's going to have their own objectives, so on and so forth. You're going to take turns activating your operators till somebody completes the objective or kills the other team, something like that. There is dice combat in this. There's going to be security cameras, booby traps, destructible terrain, drones, you know, flashbangs, smoke grenades, stuff like that. Now, what I got from this was the fresh recruit pledge. I was tempted to get the trooper pledge, which is the gameplay all in, but I went with the fresh recruit. That's going to be the core game and all the stretch goals. But I did add a map pack and a character pack. The map pack is going to be the year 2. It's called Dead End, something like that. And then I added the character pack year 3, and I believe that is called Hard Breach. And there's a few reasons why. One, I think there's a lot of replayability in the box already. I think there's something like 20 operators. You can only have 5 when you're actually playing the game, 5 on each side. So there's going to be, I think, 20 operators in there, and there's going to be a double-sided board. So I already think the replayability is going to be high, and the gameplay itself looks like it's going to be highly replayable. But I wanted to add a little bit more to that, and I added the map pack 2, because I think that one looked a little bit more unique than map pack 1. Map pack 1 kind of looked like the map in the core game already, so I wanted something a little bit different. And this one side was like, it said it focused more on movement and sniping, and the other side focused on more vertical play. And I thought that sounded pretty cool. And then the year 3 character pack, I didn't know which one to get, so I actually put out a kind of like a poll on Board Game Geek. It was a thread. I'll put a link to it below. And I was basically saying, hey, one character pack, which one? And I didn't get many responses, but I did get some for year 3, basically saying it was a little bit more unique than the other packs. So that's what I got. I just wanted a little bit more replayability on top of what was already in the core game, which I already think that is going to be enough. But what I'm really liking about this, I love, one, there is a timed feature for your activations. You can play with it or without it, but I really, really liked time stuff like that. Project Elite, one of my favorite games, has a 2-minute activation for your turn. 2 minutes starts, you do everything that you possibly can in that 2 minutes. 2 minutes ends, and that's it. But what timed things do, at least for me, is it creates that chaos, right? Mistakes happen. You can't plan out every single move. You're going to make mistakes, and I think that makes it a lot of fun. While you're making mistakes on the board, your opponent is also going to be making mistakes, and that's just going to be chaotic. I love that idea. I love the whole destructible terrain, all this stuff. I love the whole SWAT, kind of insurgents, coming on the board, the terrorists, counter-terrorists. I love this whole theme. I don't think many games do it, and this one is really appealing to me. And I just like skirmish games in general. I love those head-to-heads. I play a lot of skirmish games. I have Super Fantasy Brawl, Hate, Undaunted. So me and my stepson Chase, we really like skirmish games, and I think this is really going to be one that we really like. One thing about this though is that I think it might be. I'm a little worried about it being too fiddly. Now I don't mean that to mean complex. I think it's going to be relatively straightforward. But what I mean about fiddly is I think there's going to be a lot going on, a lot that you can miss. Each character is going to have their own special abilities. There's going to be all this destructible stuff, walls, line of sight, range, stuff like that. So each time you go, I feel like there might be a little bit too much that you're going to have to take into account. Like, okay, I'm this many spaces away. Oh, I don't have line of sight, but my guy's special abilities is he can shoot through a wall, and that gives me a +1 die roll. But then that person says, oh, if you're shooting through a wall, they actually get +2 defense. So like, what is that? So I think things might be a little too easy to miss. I'm making it sound like a real negative. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I just mean that is a possibility. So that's my only concern about this game. Now, I didn't get everything because I think all of this stuff is going to go to retail. If you look at Mythic Games store, a lot of their Kickstarter stuff goes to retail, and for not that much more than what the Kickstarter prices were. So I really think all this is going to go to retail, and then I will be able to pick up more character packs and the other map pack if I do want that. And if they don't, I feel like I got enough for my money. So that is going to be 6 Siege by Mythic Games. All right, the next one we have is Arydia, The Paths We Dare Tread. I don't need to speak too much about this one. I made a bunch of videos about this. I made a speculation video weeks before this campaign launched. I did some campaign coverage, and I even had Jeremy Howard from Man vs. Meeple on. He had a prototype copy that he was able to play, so I actually did like a little interview with him. I asked him a bunch of questions. So I highly suggest you guys check those out if you are interested in this game. But Arydia is going to be, you are playing as an exile. This is going to be an adventure game from Far Off Games, who also did Zaya, one of my favorite games. So you are playing as an exile, and you are going to go around this world, and you're going to be performing these acts. And when you perform these acts, you're going to try to get these things called squills. And if you're trying to get enough squills before the next harvest. So that's the object of the game. You're going to be traveling around on this world map. You're going to be entering locations. And on those locations, you're going to be interacting with NPCs, fighting monsters in like a dungeon crawl type of deal. There's going to be some role playing in this game as well. So overall, this game looks like right up my alley. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, there are some games that I pledged the full amount during the actual campaign. This is one of those. I actually went in for the base game, 165. This one looks really unique. I didn't go in for the expansion yet, which is the added character, or I think they added a new thing for they're like miniature, like smaller bodies, something like that. I didn't go for those. I don't need that extra character, at least not right now. It's probably going to be something I pick up later on after it hits retail. But there's a lot of things about this game that look really unique to me. One, let's just talk about the components first. Super high quality components. We're talking dual layer boards, tri-layer boards. All the components look top notch. The artwork, amazing. The artwork is, I believe, by Mr. Cuddington, who also did Title Blades. I love this stuff. I think it looks fantastic. I love this whole discovery element. You lay out this board. Let's say you come across a house or a tavern. it's not uncovered. You can't tell what's inside of it yet. Once you go to interact with that house and open it up, then you flip it over and you can actually see what's inside. I think that's cool. You know, it's not like you're laying out the whole scenario and you already know what's all involved. I love the combat. I think the combat is unique. I love this pattern. You know, as you do your attack, you know, you roll a die, it says you deal this much damage, and you can actually make a pattern on the enemy, and you can go over these spots that might potentially perform a critical hit. I just think that sounds really cool. On top of that, I like the enemy's attacks as well. They attack you and they roll a die, and it says where it hits on your person. Now, over the course of you leveling up, you're going to draw upgrade items out of this little tuck box, and you're going to place it onto your character. Now, when the enemy rolls that die, it's going to say where it hits on there, and different items, you know, might block or do different things. But the die makes a pattern. It might say here, hit, you know, your glove area or something like that. Hit your body armor. I just think it's super cool. It sounds really interesting to me. On top of that, I love the role-playing aspect. One person is going to, like, if your character is doing something, you go to interact with that NPC. The other person at the table can play the role of the NPC, reading off of a card or something like that. And that person, I believe, will get what's called role-playing points. And then you can actually spend those role-playing points, you know, in the battle. And the reason why I like that is because if you're doing role playing, you know, I would hope that you're playing with people that's like, okay, you're playing as this NPC right now, and it gives you little stats like you're suave, and you would read off the character like, how's it going? You know, something like that. But what that does is it gets you invested into the characters. It's not just saying like, okay, read this or you're doing this. I feel like it gets you involved in that world, gets you invested into the characters. And this seems like a really good blend of board games and that RPG side of things. And I think it's a beautiful mix that they have going on. I'm really excited about this. And Far Off Games, I really like this company. Zaya, I love Zaya, and Cody Miller and this team seem that they are fantastic. Along with that, that whole chip theory games thing, right? They're trying to do the best they can by the community, and I think that is really cool. So that is going to be Arydia, the Paths We Dare Tread. Now, the only thing about this is shipping as well is going to be insane. I do wish some aspects of this, they kind of dialed down a little bit. Like there's I believe a dual layer or a tri-layer board for just these skills that you're going to upgrade. And all the skills is you just take out this skill and then I think you place it on your character somehow. I don't believe that needed to be a dual or tri-layer board. That could have just been a sheet that you just set down, and then you place those, you know, tokens on top of that. That might have saved a little bit of cost, and maybe they could have done that here or there, accomplishing the same thing, and then only doing those high quality components where it really mattered. But they have pre-painted minis, swappable heads. Dude, this game looks fantastic. I'm really excited about this. And I think I was talking about the shipping, but the shipping is insane. So I think altogether this is going to be like over $200 for just this game. But you know, that's kind of, honestly, man, that's kind of the norm for these games nowadays. I do think this one is going to be kind of replayable. I'm not entirely sure, but I think for the components that you're getting, I think it's worth it. So that is going to be Arydia, the Paths We Dare Tread. Next up is Mythic Battles Ragnarok. Did a video about this as well. I love Viking stuff. In Mythic Battles Ragnarok, this is going to be a skirmish game for 2 to 4 players, and this is by Monolith. This is going to be a Viking theme, and this is the second in, I believe, no, it's not going to be a trilogy, right? I was thinking it was a trilogy at first, but they already did Pantheon. They did Pantheon 1.5, which is just kind of like a little revision, but that was like with the Greek setting. This is going to be the Vikings, and I thought it was going to be a trilogy at first with the last Egyptian theme, but they put out a survey. There's going to be, I think, quite a few more of these mythic battles. So in this, it is a skirmish game, and you are going to basically draft your army. You're going to get a certain point value. You're going to draft, who you want to play as. You're going to have a divine character, and so is the opponent. And you're going to play a skirmish game, and you're going to either have to kill the other person's divine character, or you're going to have to absorb 4 of these divinity stones or these runes. You're going to have your character activations. You're going to move around this board doing attacks using dice combat. So this is going to be a straight up skirmish game. There is going to be an adventure mode in here as well, where it's kind of going to be planned out scenarios, which you will either be able to draft your own armies in those as well, or they are going to give you and say, hey, these are the characters this side is going to play, and these are the characters this side is going to play. Now, what did I back with this? Well, I actually went for the, what is it called? The War of the Gods, and that is going to be the $239. And if we scroll down, we can actually see here again, you'll see that your selection is the $1. Again, most of the games I go in for $1, and then I spend the money during the PM, and the PM for this opened up just the other day. So the War of the Gods is actually going to be, where are we here? It's actually going to be the core game and stretch goals for Pantheon 1.5 and the core game and stretch goals of Mythic Battles Ragnarok. Now, why am I going in on this? Well, this is a crap load of content right here. It's already a lot of money for $239, but I really am interested in the Greek theme and the I love the Viking theme, like I was just saying. And I've heard a lot of good things about Pantheon. So with this is going to basically take that same formula and make little tweaks, but adding some, I love the whole Norse mythology stuff. So this is just super appealing to me. And then plus you can actually mix, you can have the Greeks fighting the Vikings and so on and so forth. Pick and choose your armies, stuff like that. So maybe you have like Achilles fighting with Thor, stuff like that. I just think, dude, that's just awesome. Now, I am also going to be adding the Conan crossover. I love Conan. Conan crossover Gods of the North. That's going to be it for another $29. So that's going to bring my total with shipping included to $330. Shipping is $63, guys. But honestly, I want this. I want this system. There's a lot of content in these boxes. I love that, the Greek stuff. I love the Viking stuff. I want that Conan crossover. I have a lot for Conan. It's one of my favorite games. So this all looks really appealing to me. And like I was mentioning with Six Siege, me and my stepson Chase, we love skirmish games. We play a lot of these games. Hate, Super Fantasy Brawl, Undaunted, you name it. So we really like this skirmish game stuff. So I'm really excited about getting this. I think it looks super cool. And just to have those big honking miniatures moving them around. I'm a mini guy too. So I love this. I really want to try this system, this, Mythic Battle stuff. So I'm really excited about getting this. And plus too, this isn't available in retail. Monolith has been teasing. They're opening up an online store. They've been teasing that for a long time. I don't know if that's ever coming. It may. It just seems like a running joke at this point. But if they do ever have it, maybe it goes to that store. But I'm not counting on it. So I want this. Now is the time to get it. And again, I didn't say before, the dangerous thing about this is the PM for this is going to be open till the end of the year. So I'm a little afraid as time goes on, I'm going to be adding these little things to it. So basically by the end of the year when it closes, I'll be at like over $500. I don't know. I could still stick with this. That's the plan right now because it's a lot of content like I was just saying. But I wouldn't be surprised if I start adding some of those other expansions. But that is going to be Mythic Battles Ragnarok. And before we switch to the next game, I will say one last thing. They have been working on a solo version for this. That is very exciting. So that way you don't have to wait until you get somebody else to play with. You can play all of this stuff solo. And I think there is going to be even some crossover maybe with Conan, not just at Gods of the North. I'm not entirely sure. It could be, but if you could even bring this over into another game, that's even more appealing. So They are really working on a solo, which makes it a lot easier for me to back because like I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, I play most of my games solo. So really, really cool. All right, the next one is going to be Dinosaur World. This is going to be a worker placement tile laying game by Pandasaurus Games. As you can see, clearly it's based on Jurassic Park. Now in this game, you are going to be given a certain amount of workers. You're going to draft a card. It's going to say a certain amount of workers on there. You're going to get those workers, place those in different locations. You're going to be gaining DNA. You're going to be using that DNA to create dinosaurs. You're going to be expanding your park, creating pens for the dinosaurs, merchandise stores, food stores, stuff like that. So you're going to be expanding your park, placing your dinosaurs on there, and then eventually you're going to have this little Jeep that's going to travel your park, and it's going to gain excitement, gain money that you'll later use that to spend on other things, upgrades, stuff like that. Now this is kind of a sequel, but not really, to Dinosaur Island, a game that Pandasaurus Games made previously. I have Dinosaur Island. I think it's okay. I actually prefer it more as a solo game. In the solo game, you're basically just trying to beat your own score. But why I'm going in for Dinosaur World is, while I thought Dinosaur Island was okay, and I didn't mind the color scheme. At first I did, but I eventually got over it and I was like, it is what it is. But what I really didn't like about Dinosaur Island was your actual park. It was just this square board and you just place these rectangle pieces on there. And I didn't have the Kickstarter version. I just have the retail. So let's say you're making a Tyrannosaurus paddock, and then you create one of those Tyrannosaurus Rexes, you would place your meeple on there, but all the meeples in the retail version are these pink Triceratops meeples. So when I was creating a T-Rex, I would actually place a Triceratops meeple on there. So the park itself, and it wasn't just the meeples, it was just like, it just didn't look anything like a park. I just thought it could have looked a lot better. So I didn't really like the artwork or graphic design of that. Again, I thought the color scheme was okay. That's not what I minded. But I just didn't like that little aspect. And I was hoping the player interaction were to be a little bit higher. But again, it wasn't that bad. It was mainly just the park, and it was just, overall, it's just it's okay. Now, what I'm hoping Dinosaur World does is I'm hoping, and you can clearly see if we scroll down, the artwork is a lot better, in my opinion. The park is made up of these giant hexes, and the hexes have all this artwork on them. I think it looks a lot better. I think it kind of gives you the feeling of it's more like a Jurassic Park, if you will. It looks more realistic than what you were given in Dinosaur Island. So it's kind of using those same mechanisms in Dinosaur Island with a little bit of differences, but I think the overall artwork and graphic design look a lot better. And I'm hoping there's a little bit more player interaction. I'm hoping it's not as dry as Dinosaur Island, but that's yet to be seen. Now, I didn't back this during the campaign. Again, you can see I pledged $5 to gain access to the PM. PM came around, I didn't go in. Instead, what I actually did was, on Gamenerdz, they have a pre-order for $80, and that's what I got. This is the Kickstarter version. I didn't get any of the expansions for it. I want to try this core game out. Maybe if I like it enough, maybe the expansions. But this seems like one of those games, even if I do, I'm probably not going to get the expansions. So I got this for $80. The containers have already arrived in the US. I'm talking about the US here. So all 4 containers have arrived, and they said the pledges should already start going out to retailers and backers. So I'm hoping to get this fairly soon. Now, also in addition to this, Gamenerdz is fantastic because shipping, if you go past, I believe it's $75, you don't have to pay for shipping. So $80 for the Kickstarter version with no shipping. Fantastic deal. So I'm really hoping Dinosaur World, and dude, I love dinosaurs. I grew up I think like most kids, dude, I was in love with dinosaurs. Jurassic Park came around and Oh my gosh, dude, I was blown away. I still am to this day. It's one of my favorite movies. So I am really looking for a dinosaur themed game, and I'm hoping to find it. I really want to find that. I was reading something about dinogenics. I looked it up. It does look like it's got a little park with fences and stuff like that. If this doesn't work out, I think I'm going to give that a shot next, because I really want that dinosaur theme, and I'm hoping this is it. When I do get this, and when I play it a few times, I am going to do a comparison video for Dinosaur Island versus Dinosaur World. Is there space for both? Which one is better? So I'm going to do that, so stay tuned for that when I eventually get this game. So that is going to be Dinosaur World by Pandasaurus Games. All right, so next up we have Kemet, Blood, and Sand. This is going to be a 2 to 5 player game, area control game by Madigo Games. And this is kind of a revision of the original Kemet. I've never played it. And what they've basically done in here is they kind of added some expansions from the original kind of in here. They've kind of streamlined some things a little bit. So this is going to be an area control game. So in this, you're going to have your army, and you're going to go around this board of Egypt, and there's going to be these different locations where you can, there's going to be these pyramids, and you can build up these pyramids, which are going to allow you to gain certain levels of powers. And there's going to be different colors of powers. So the blue powers might be more defensive. Red powers might be more aggressive. So you're going to be able to pick and choose from these different colored powers. And over the course of the game, you're going to have basically a tech tree of all these different powers of different colors. So by the end of the game, your army is going to be quite unique than the other players, and you're essentially trying to gain the most points. Whoever has the most points wins. Now, what is interesting me about this is the amount of combat. I heard there is a lot of combat, and that's really appealing to me. I like games across multiple genres, right? Games that have no combat, just basically every type of game. But then sometimes I do want that. And this seems like one of those dudes on a map that actually has a lot of combat. And that's really appealing to me. And also because I'm kind of into the Egyptian theme right now. I just played a game of Ankh on the channel. There is a playthrough up and a review, so if you guys haven't seen it, I highly suggest you check that out. But I've been playing Ankh recently, and I've really been having a blast with it. So it's kind of like getting me into the whole Egyptian vibes right now. So this looks like it's kind of similar, but not. Maybe a little bit more in depth than Ankh is with these tech trees. I love the idea of the tech trees, being able to pick and choose different powers, and they're different colors. And everybody's fighting for maybe control of certain powers, and then you got to fight to see who gets there first. And I love the area control aspect of it as well. And they have these cool monsters that you can gain as well. So it seems like it's kind of like Ankh, but a little bit different. And I think there might be room for both of these games in the collection. So I've heard nothing but good things about Kemet, and I've watched Tom Vassel's review, and he was praising this up and down. It's one of his favorite games. So this one just looks really appealing to me. Now, where did I get this? Because I didn't pledge or back it in the PM. I actually also got this from Gamenerdz. They have it for $72 right now, and I believe this is the Kickstarter version. Now, the Kickstarter version didn't have much exclusives. So what you are missing, I think it's kind of minuscule. You're missing like some 3D obelisks, stuff like that. But I also got this from Gamenerdz. And so I actually paired this with Dinosaur World. I kind of went on one of those little sprees where I was like, you know what? I want to get Dinosaur World and Kemet. Just throw them all on an order and call it a day. So that's what I did. Kemet, Blood, and Sand from Gamenerdz. Check it out. It says they still have 69 in stock, so plenty of time. $72. I thought it was a fantastic deal. It's one that I'm really interested in. I like area control games. If this one is going to promise a lot of combat with this Egyptian theme, which I'm kind of into right now, I feel like I'm kind of just in all kinds of themes, right? Like it's not like, the Japanese, the Greek, Egyptian. Always in the Vikings. Vikings is top for me, but I'm kind of in the mood for this right now. So And I think there, like I said before, I think there could be room for both Ankh and Kemet. And eventually when I do get this and I play a few games, I think I'm going to do a comparison, Kemet versus Ankh. I think that's going to be an interesting take on it. And we'll see what I think after that. So that is going to be Kemet, Blood, and Sand. And the last one, a little bonus, is Ankh, the Pantheon expansion. I knew this was going to happen. I got Ankh. When I pledged, I only got the core, which came with the stretch goals, and the Pharaoh. I knew this was going to happen. It does on a lot of campaigns. I get the game, I play it, I really enjoy it, and then I have to track down the expansion stuff for it. And I'm usually paying a lot more than what it was in the campaign. So I actually got the Pantheon expansion. I think it was from eBay for $65. It says it's, the retail price is going to be $60. So I don't believe that I got too bad of a deal. And I do believe all of this stuff is going to come, like all of this expansion stuff and the core game is going to come to retail. I don't know when, but I do believe that is. I mean, all of them say this SRP next to them, but I don't know what that means exactly. So I did get the Pantheon. Me and my wife, we really like this game. Watch the videos. Again, I have a playthrough and we'd have another review video up separately. We just really enjoy this, man. It's simple. It wasn't what I was expecting. It's a lot better than I was expecting it to be. And it's fast. It's just fun. There's a lot of strategy and it doesn't take too long to play. It's just fast paced. So we really enjoy it. So the Pantheon is basically just going to add more gods. I want a little bit more replayability. I've played a lot of the gods already. I think there's only 2 gods that I haven't played with. Or there might just be the one. I think I did play as the Sobek recently, the crocodile. So there might just be one left that I did play as a crocodile. I did. So there's just one more out of the stretch goals that I haven't played as. And I want to experience all of the gods. I really like this game. So just adding more of these gods, and I think they're super cool. This Pantheon is going to add 5 more gods. I'm really excited about it. And I was looking at the Pharaoh rulebook recently, so I think I am going to do a review after I play a few games of the Pharaoh expansion. What does it bring to Ankh? Maybe we'll try to do another playthrough of Ankh with the Pharaoh expansion. I think that might be pretty cool. And you know what? I'm probably eventually going to track down the playmat for this. The playmat just looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, I knew this was going to happen, man. The Guardian set, I have no interest in. There is a crap load of Guardians in the stretch goals. This is not interesting me at all in the slightest. So that is going to be Ankh, the Pantheon expansion. So that is basically going to be it. That's what I spent the money on. There were a few other interesting games that I was about to buy, but I did not. And if there's any games that you did not see on this list, obviously, and they were kind of semi-big Kickstarters, maybe I did some coverage on them, they're games that I just did not back. And I was actually thinking of making another video of those games that I was like, you know what? This game was super cool. I was this close, but I didn't do it. I didn't go for it. I'm thinking of a few games right now, but maybe I'll save that for the actual video, giving some reasons why, I didn't go for it. And then also, I was planning to have a Nemesis playthrough up this week. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out because of the circumstances that I said at the beginning of the video, but a solo playthrough of Nemesis is coming. I hope to have it out next week, so stay tuned for that. So that's basically going to be it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below, what have you bought recently? What games are interesting you? And just let me know, man. We'll talk. We'll have a good time. And if you guys enjoy this, please think about subscribing. It would really help out. So that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And until next time, grab some brews, play some games, and I'll see you guys later. All right, take care.